So my name is Danny Rodriguez. I work here at the PPP division here at Femby Mortgage. I'm here with Juan Pigurina, one of the PPP specialists. And so today, during this webinar, we're basically going to talk about how you can be eligible for the PPP. That's going to be the first segment. Then we're going to briefly go over the online application form, and then there's going to be a short Q&A for any questions that you guys may have. So here's Juan to talk a little more about the PPP application, how you can be eligible, whether you can be eligible, how to calculate your loan amount, and whatnot.
So as it applies specifically to realtors, the PPP is applicable to people who are self-employed, who are independent contractors, small business owners, and most realtors are considered self-employed individuals or independent contractors. You get paid with 1099s. So if you look at your individual income tax return, you'll see something called a Schedule C, which is your self-employment income tax return. Your Schedule C is what we use to calculate the loan amount. Line 31 is your net income. You take that, you divide it by 12, then you multiply it by 2.5. And that's the amount of the loan that you are eligible for, and that can be forgiven. So the way it works is you get the loan amount. Let's say you made $50,000 in net income right after expenses, but before taxes, you have a net income of $50,000. You would divide that by 12. You would multiply by 2.5. You'd get around $10,500. That's the amount that you would qualify for, and then you would apply for forgiveness once you get that. And we generally only take loans that get forgiven because Femby has no interest in servicing a 1% 5-year loan. So you can be pretty sure, if not certain, that your loan is going to be forgiven if we take it on. So you apply for forgiveness, we send you the forgiveness application, and the SBA forgives your loan. It reimburses us for your loan, and you don't have to pay anyone back. You don't owe anyone any money.
I think it's really important also to note, or to know that although this program was initially advertised for small business owners as a method for compensation for payroll, to replace payroll lost due to COVID, it also applies to self-employed individuals. And initially, a lot of the bigger banks weren't taking those smaller loans because they were capped at $20,000, and they don't have a big interest. Even some of the bigger companies who were eligible for up to $200,000, they just didn't care. The loan amount has since decreased, and a lot more self-employed individuals have been applying and being approved. So we recently jumped on board and started helping people out on both ends of the spectrum, from independent contractors, self-employed people, and all the way to W-2 companies with W-2 or businesses that have W-2 employees that pay them out and file 940s, 941s, W-2s, W-3s, and then there's all these different caveats and guidance rules that the SBA has issued for new businesses, for businesses that opened up after July. So my advice is just to apply, speak to one of the processors here, and see what you could be eligible for, because it is almost free money, if not free money.
Right. We can figure it out for you. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't know if I qualify. We will know. If you send us the tax returns, we'll figure out what you qualify for. We'll figure out what the best way to apply for you would be. And, we're interested in getting you the most money possible. I mean, the SBA remunerates us from the fund directly. So it wouldn't be from your loan. It would be from the fund directly. So the larger the loan amount we get for you, the more remuneration comes our way. And a lot of people, especially self-employed individuals, tend to ask us about it. It says Payroll Protection Act. Actually, they renamed it Paycheck Protection Act for self-employed individuals. But the idea is, oh, this is only for payroll, right? I can only use this loan if I have payroll. Well, as a self-employed individual, you are your own payroll, right? You're a business entity, and you pay yourself. So when they say, oh, you need to spend 60% of it on payroll, well, if it goes directly into your checking account, then it's all been spent on payroll, right? Because you are your own payroll as a self-employed individual. Now, if you have W-2 employees and you're applying for your business, then of course, you have to pay 60% of it to your W-2 employees. But if you're applying as a sole proprietor with your sole proprietor income on your Schedule C, or as an independent contractor with your 1099 income on your Schedule C, then it's essentially a straightforward forgiveness process. You just have to prove that the same 1040 Schedule C that you gave to the IRS is the one that you gave to us, meaning you didn't write off some expenses for tax purposes and then not write them off so that you get a bigger PPP loan. And that's really the only stipulation when it comes to forgiveness for independent contractors and self-employed individuals.
Yeah, so I think it's in everybody's best interest to apply. We won't put your loan in or fund you without first consulting with you. So that's not a worry. We're going to be in direct communication with you throughout the whole process to make sure that you're fully aware of everything. So we're not doing anything that's that you wouldn't want us to do. So let's go ahead and start with the actual online application form, which we're all going to send to you via email. So once you open that up, you should see, and I'm just going to share my screen here. And it's honestly pretty straightforward, but there's some questions on here that are not so straightforward. Okay, so this is going to be the application form that you see when you open up or when you click the link in the email. A lot of this stuff is very straightforward. So borrow information, you're just going to put your personal information here. It's going to look very similar to this, but not exactly. So yeah, so just your personal information here, your social security here. When it comes down to the business entity section of the application, for the entity name, if you're filing as a self-employed individual or as an independent contractor or sole proprietor, you're going to put your name here. You don't need to put your DBA, or if you're if you practice business as some other your name, comma PA. You don't need to put that there, so you can not answer that question. For entity type, this is probably the most important part of the whole application. So if you're a sole proprietor, if you're a realtor, basically, doesn't matter if you if you have an S corp where you pay which is where the 1099s are issued to, and then you pay yourself through that.
Well, they would if they have that. If you're running it through a business or an LLC, you would select sole proprietorship. But if you're getting the 1099s directly, you would select self-employed 1099 contract.
So you either select sole proprietor or self-employed 1099 contractor if you're going to file as self-employed. For a partnership, that only applies if you file a 1065.
K1.
Yeah, a 1065 K1. If you file an 1120S, even if you're an LLC, you're going to choose S corp. The same applies for corp. If you file for just an 1120, and then if you have a nonprofit or a veterans organization, you can choose some of these. Other is going to be a very special case. If you fit under none of these choices, you can go ahead and click other and then upload any documentation you want, and then one of our processors will be in contact with you. So if back to whether you're self-employed or not. So if you're self-employed, you're filing as sole proprietor, independent contractor, you're going to put your social again here. So this is going to be where it says federal tax ID, EIN, you're going to put your social here one more time. If it's an S corp, LLC, partnership, any of the other aforementioned entity types, you're going to put the business ID. You're going to put for self-employed individuals, independent contractors, and sole proprietors, you're going to put your home address a third time here. So same applies for independent contractors, sole proprietors, self-employed individuals. If it's an S corp, you put the location of your S corp. This may be the same as your home address. For number of employees, you put 0 if you're self-employed, and if you have W-2 employees, you can put as many as you currently have, or as you currently had in 2019. There's also going to be another section here, which is not in this application, but you're going to see it. It's going to say NAICS code. For realtors, it's going to be 531210. That's 531210.
You can Google NAICS realtor.
Yeah, there's also
it'll pull it up.
There's another option that's right under the actual form field where you can click and it'll look it up for you. And then here down for the members officers section, it's same as above. So it's The application is a little repetitive, but this is exactly how the application looks. Looks the actual form that the SBA issued looks on paper. So you're going to go ahead and submit, and it'll redirect you to an online to a portal where you can upload documents, and depending on the entity type that you've chosen, it will display a certain set of documents that you have options to upload. It'll also send you an email. You can check your spam. You should probably check your spam because it may go to your spam with a link to visit this page if it wasn't filled out, or if you want to revisit it to fill it out correctly. It'll have all of your information saved on here, as well as a link to the portal upload page. So I think that's pretty straightforward. We can go ahead and start taking questions now.
PPP.
We'll wait a couple minutes for anybody who has any questions, and
Got life.
also feel free to tell your buddies, your friends, your cousins, because honestly, everybody's eligible. Many of these very well-paid corporations were getting large loans from the government that were going to be forgiven. For example, I think Harvard got, what was it, 40 billion?
A lot.
$40 billion, and there's still $120 billion left. That's been static for the past couple of months. So really, the government, I think, is just wants to continue to stimulate the economy, even if you're not going to, or let's say that your business really hasn't been that affected by COVID. I think that the purpose of the loan is to stimulate the economy, so you can use that money to go out and buy things, and that, as a byproduct, stimulates the economy. It's just good to distribute the wealth.
In any event, there's I know some people are worried. I don't want to take from the pool or something like that if I don't need it. The reality is that the government is issuing in total about $6 trillion new dollars, and that's like something like $18,000 per American. And if you haven't gotten $18,000 from the government, because you better believe that the connected people, the banks, the corporations, they're getting their money. So there is especially now, given the situation, there should be no concerns about whether or not you deserve this money. It's yours. That's the whole point of the program.
Okay, so I'm not sure if I can see all the questions here. Oh, here we go. Q&A.
You got a new one?
I received the invitation, but I'm in Puerto Rico. Will fill out local tax form. Okay, so we're actually going to do a completely different video for Puerto Rico applications, but yeah, it is very similar to how. Go ahead.
Line 27 on the 1040 PR is equivalent to line 31 on the 1040 Schedule C. So you do the same calculation, divided by 12, multiplied by 2.5. And that's where you'll find it, line 27 on the 1040 PR.
Saw somebody just, oh wait.
Does that answer your question? I don't do from where for the form. Yeah, so we can do Puerto Rican.
Yeah, when we will be doing class. Puerto Rican class.
We have.
We have. Okay. This question has been answered. So for anybody who just joined, I just saw 2 people joined. We're doing a Q&A right now. We just went over the application.
A new question.
Okay, here we go. Arlene asks, who exactly is eligible for these loans? What can the money be used for? Is it forgivable?
So if you are a realtor, which if you're in this presentation, you probably are, you are eligible.
This is for everybody. It's not just
for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, well, self-employed individuals, independent contractors, small business owners, sole proprietors are all eligible. So if you get paid in 1099s and you file a 1040 Schedule C, you're eligible. If you own a business and you pay W-2 payroll, you're eligible. If you get partnership income from your 1065K1, you're eligible. And there are, a myriad other ways that you can qualify. The loan is forgivable if you get it as a sole proprietor, or an independent contractor, and the money goes into your account. Well, once it goes into your account, I mean, usually when you get paid, that's your money, and it works the same way with this. Once you get the money into your checking account as a sole proprietor, independent contractor, or a self-employed individual, you can spend it as though it were your money because it's your money and it's forgivable. If you get it to your business account and you've applied with W-2 payroll, well, then in that case, you have to spend at least 60% of it on payroll. And the rest of it may be spent on
Mortgage
payments, rent, and utilities. But as an independent contractor or sole proprietor, the money's yours. You can spend it essentially however you want. With whom in FemBPR?
So there will be loan officers from the Puerto Rico office that will be contacting you guys, and we'll be sending out an email to everybody who's in here with a link to the full application. But a lot of everybody who will be processing these applications will be in the United States. Will be in the Miami office, so it'll be mostly over phone call that we'll be meeting with you and helping you process the loan. I want to mention something to answer Arlene's question one more time about the forgiveness. One caveat with the it's not necessarily a caveat, but it's important that the Schedule C that you use on the application with us, if you are sole proprietor, independent contractor, self-employed individual, the Schedule C, the value that you put at line 31 must be the value that you put at line 31 of your Schedule C for the Schedule C that you file with the IRS. So as long as those two documents are the same, the Schedule C that you file with the application and the Schedule C that you file with the IRS, as long as those are the same document, you're fully forgiven. Just wanted to make that clear.
Okay, so I've been an independent contractor since January of 2020. I didn't create my LLC until May of 2020. I didn't file taxes last year as an independent contractor. This is my first year. Do I need a Schedule C form? What will be my best chance? What will give me my best chance at approval? LLC was created May 2020, and I didn't file for any other SBA until this point.
Okay, well, I can actually answer this. So there's an option for new businesses, and this applies to independent contractors too, which is if you weren't in business in 2019 and you were just in business for 2020, in the beginning part of 2020 before COVID happened, you can actually, the calculation is done a little different. So what you're gonna have to do is file a Schedule C for what would likely be your 2020 Schedule C. So it's a tentative approximation of your 2020, just only including the income that you made from January and February of this year. And that's how the loan calculation is made. So you're not dividing that amount by 12, you're dividing by 2.
Yeah, so if you made $5,000 a month net income January and February, then it would be as though you had a 60,000 net income year. But you divide that by 2. So that would be 10,000 divided by 2, 5,000 times 2.5, 12,500.
I'm gonna answer this question real quick. Karen, yes, if you're an independent contractor with no employees, you are eligible. So long as you get paid 1099s and you file a Schedule C, you are eligible. That Schedule C line 31 is non-negative. So if those 3 bullet points are, if those 3 are correct, then yeah, you are eligible. There's a question here that I want to answer that we didn't get to finish to answer this, but so it says, I have not filed my 2019 taxes yet. Can I use my 2018? Apply for the SBA loan. Can I apply for both? So you can apply for if you've already applied for the EIDL loan, EIDL, Emergency Economic
Injury Disaster Relief.
Yeah. So if you apply for that, you can apply for both. Actually, if you applied for and received an EIDL loan between the January 31st and April 3rd, that whatever you got as a loan for the EIDL loan will be added onto your PPP loan. So it's essentially refinanced via the PPP loan.
And the PPP loan, even in the unforgiven status is a much better loan. It's a 1% loan over 5 years. So if you were to refinance the idle, it'd be a great deal, and plus you get at least a good portion of it forgiven anyway. And then
yeah, it's also, by the way, the deadline for the current round of PPP loans is August 8th, but I mean, we're not sure if it's going to be extended past August 8th. We are pretty certain that they're going to reinstitute a new PPP program. It's going to be similar to the one that's in place, but we can't guarantee that the one that is currently being offered is going to continue onward after August 8th. So if you're gonna go ahead and do this, definitely get the application in before August 8th, preferably before Friday, because then we can guarantee that we can put you into the portal and actually get you a loan number, but definitely before August 8th, because that's
I haven't filed my 2019 taxes yet. Can I use my 2018? Yes, you can. You can use your 1040 Schedule C from your 2018 taxes. If you filed for an extension and you are not able to get your 2019 taxes in before the deadline.
However, if one forgiveness comes around, they will be using your 2019 Schedule C to
determine the amount that's going to be forgiven.
Yes. So August 8th, guys. That's the date.
That's the date.
If there's any more questions, we'll be here for a couple more minutes.
Yeah, apply. It's really quick. For most people, it'll be the quickest and easiest thousands of dollars you'll ever make, and it seems like a pain to fill out some forms. But imagine you were, closing on a however many dollar house, whatever
Yeah, say you make 6% or 3% on that.
Yeah, let's say you're getting a $5,000 loan, or let's say you're getting a $6,000 loan. For the easy math, you're making 2% on a $200,000 house. You'd take 15 minutes to do that for sure. And so think about it that way. If the idea of doing some paperwork is
seems tedious or
it seems tedious.
Some.
It is a little.
For anybody who's joining now, this entire webinar is going to be recorded, and we're going to post it. So we're gonna send an email with a link to this webinar, to the Q&A, and then to a link to the full app in case you missed anything. Anyway, we have another question here. Oh yeah, Steve. Okay, so Steve, yeah, basically we went through what we did was explain who's eligible for the PPP program, how you're going to be eligible, how to calculate the loan amount, how to go through the online application, which is very straightforward. And then we answered some questions. All of it is recorded, so you can go back and look at it.
Know that if you file a 1040 Schedule C, you're eligible.
1040 schedule. If you're an independent contractor, sole proprietor, there you go, Steve.
All
You're
right,
welcome.
Steve. You're welcome. Thanks. All correct. Oh, she was fact checking us.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Hello? Can I send this to a realtor friend? Yes, please.
In Vero Beach?
Yeah, all over the country. It's a federal program.
Yeah. So the SBA is very lax with their guidance, and essentially, if you have a social security number, you're eligible. You can be eligible. Yeah. So.
Are you only using Schedule C? I filed Schedule E.
Yeah, so Schedule E's are not going to work. A Schedule F will work if that's farm income. If you have a partnership, the 1065 Schedule K1 will work. But that is pretty much it. It's going to be your Schedule C or your Schedule F. Unless you're from Puerto Rico, then there's some.
The PR.
Yeah, there's the PR, the 1040 SS, and then there's the Form 450, 432 or something.
Gotta look that one up. The Form PR 480 6.SP number 3. The form PR, the 480. That's, I think, is the equivalent of a 1099.
Yeah, Karen. So you can send this to all of your realtor friends. We've done a bunch for realtors, and it's been wildly successful for all of them.
Yeah.
Especially the ones that really need the money and need it quick, because we.
And these are the easiest loans for us. So it's not going to be like when you give it to Bank of America and they take a month and a half, especially for the realtor loans. I mean, it can be a 3-day turnaround, maybe 4 or 5 days total before the money's in your checking account. But 3 days easy, it could be a day. If you send all the documents in, you could be approved by the end of that day and funded within 3 days. Because again, realtor and independent contractor loans in general, sole proprietor loans in general, are straightforward. And then we get another question here. If my husband filed for a PPP loan for the business, am I still eligible to file for one separately? Yes.
Yeah. So if your husband filed for a PPP loan for his business and he used his business tax TIN or on the application form, he can file. If he files a Schedule C, he can also file for an individual PPP loan as well. You can.
Any more? Scroll down.
No.
No. No. No.
That's pretty much it. I think we should wrap up in a couple minutes. If anybody has any last questions.
Oh, that's another one popped in.
Okay. So we'll be sending you a link to the full application form, and it'll look just like the one that we went over today. Some few differences, but it's essentially going to be the same. Personal information for the entity type. Be sure to follow the instructions as I laid it out, and then click submit. Be sure to check your spam for automated emails that are sent once you submit the document, and then once the loan is in processing. Be on the lookout for approvals for an email requesting documentation and that of the sort.
Sweet.
Sweet, says Steven. All right, you're right, Steven. It's very sweet. Sweet of the government.
Yeah, very nice, but free money. All right. Everybody, give Danny a round of applause for his performance today.
Yeah.
He's usually very camera shy, so he can't hear you clapping, but he can feel it.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting another question. Hold on. Will you be sending it? Yeah, we'll be sending it right after this webinar is right after we're done here, we'll be sending it out. We have until Friday to fill it out. So we're gonna send it out right away, and you guys can get started right away.
You're welcome, Steve. You're welcome, Justin.
And you're welcome, Lizette.
Welcome, Lizette.
So before we get off, you can contact, or actually we'll have our contact information in the email that we send out. So yeah, be on the lookout for that email so that you guys can get started on this application, and we can have you funded before August 8th. All right. Bye guys. Thank you.
Thanks.